I'll spend a few sentences writing about what their voice is like. You know, what's their attitude? Are they motor mouth? Are they very kind of laconic? Are they optimistic? Are they pessimistic? Are they cynical? Really thinking about their voice, particularly with protagonists who tend to be the least interesting characters in a screenplay. I'll think about what makes them unique. What are some interesting personality traits and qualities that they have? And then I will try to figure out their conscious and their unconscious desire. A great example of a very unique character is, I have three here. The Dude is certainly a very unique character that has a great voice. He has some interesting mannerisms. Like, what kind of drink? What is the Dude's favorite drink? White Russian. See, people know that sort of obscure trait about that character because it's interesting. Hannibal Lecter is an interesting character. Dory from Finding Nemo has a very interesting character quirk. Do you remember what that was?
She can't remember.
She can't remember. She has no short-term memory or whatever it was. So it's good to do the exercise of thinking about what makes your character unique. So conscious desire and unconscious desire, very, very important. Your character's conscious desire, also known as the want. It's what the central character thinks they want. And often this is a selfish goal. A lot of times they have it at the beginning of the story. Sometimes when the inciting incident comes in, they think of it. It is what they think that they want. Now, their unconscious desire is what the central character learns during their journey that they really want. And often this is a more selfless goal. Now, sometimes the conscious and unconscious desire is the same thing. Like in Birdman, he wants to make it to opening night and prove to the world that he can be a real dramatic actor. And that's his conscious desire through the whole thing. But how he gets to it changes because he's a flawed character at the beginning, and he needs to kind of go through the journey to get to where he needs to get to. Also, Gravity is a good case of the conscious desire is the same throughout the film because she basically wants to get the hell back home, right? But how she eventually gets there, what she needs to do to get there, changes and deepens and gets more kind of intense over the course of the film. But in most stories, you will see a shift from a conscious desire to a different unconscious desire, like in Breaking Bad. It's pretty clear from the pilot what Walt White's conscious desire is, which is what?
For his cancer treatments.
He wants to be able to provide for his family, right? Yeah, he learns his inciting incident is that he finds he has cancer, so he wants to provide for his family. That's what he's saying throughout the entire series. It's all about the money to provide my family when I'm gone. But his unconscious desire, as we learn as the series progresses, is to reclaim his lost manhood. And that tension between providing for one's family and reclaiming his lost manhood, which a lot of that ends up creating a lot of conflict and violence. There's some great tension between those two things. The Graduate, my all-time favorite movie, is a great example. Benjamin Braddock's your central character. His conscious desire is Mrs. Robinson, which really is about sex, right? He thinks that sex is going to fill the void in his soul that he's feeling as the graduate. What, of course, becomes his unconscious desire? The daughter, Elaine, and what does she embody?
The void that was...
Well, what does she, if Mrs. Robinson is sex, what is Elaine?
Chastity.
Chastity, no. Love. Love, exactly, love. She represents, real, healthy, human love between two people, unlike that empty kind of physical thing he had with Mrs. Robinson. And you can feel the tension between his conscious desire, his unconscious desire, because it's mother and daughter. So it's just the perfect example of conscious and unconscious desire. A movie like You've Got Mail, which I don't know if you guys even remember or ever saw it, but it's a total two-hander romantic comedy, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Two central characters, Kathleen and Joe. Their conscious desires are Joe's conscious desire is to dominate the local book market. He's like big Borders guy. Kathleen, who has a little bookstore, her conscious desire is to stop Joe from destroying her little shop. Now you feel the tension in their conscious desires. They're obviously at loggerheads. Their unconscious desire is to find out that their email pen pals are their perfect match. And of course, we as an audience know that they are each other's pen pals and they don't know it yet. So that's an example of central characters that have conscious desires that are at loggerheads, but they share an unconscious desire that they achieve at the end of the film.